Sara slams into Belize. We'll take a look at the impacts it brought and if it could hold together into the Gulf of Mexico. Your forecast across the Caribbean and the Bahamas starts right now.
This is Meteo Mundo.
Hi friends, Rusty back here at Meteo Mundo. We're your home for Caribbean weather, and it is fantastic to see you on a late Sunday. I hope you're doing well. Coming up in this video, we now have Sara inland over Belize. It is bringing widespread impacts to portions of Central America and the Yucatan. We'll highlight that. Other significant areas of rain and flooding today I'll highlight. I've got your island by island forecast coming up for the rainfall, and we'll take a look at if Sara can hold together and bring more impacts to portions of the Gulf Coast states. You know, I love to hear from you guys. I hope you're doing well. I know a lot of you have been impacted by Sara and some other rough weather over the weekend. Let me know in the comment section below how you're doing, what's been happening in your area. Let's get started right now. This is what's been going on across the day. Sara's circulation is now inland. It's weakened enough to become a tropical depression. But of course, once you get a name of a storm, it holds a name, even if it weakens back to tropical depression status. So this is tropical depression Sara moving inland. It made landfall this morning near the Dangriga area of Belize and continuing on a northwest track. And the story in Belize and Guatemala and portions of Quintana Roo is the same story for Central America, Honduras, El Salvador, Nicaragua, other areas impacted by Sara, and that's the widespread heavy flooding rains. We continue to see heavy rain through places like Dangriga and Belize City, San Ignacio, Belmopan, as Sara slowly works its way up to the north and to the west. Little wind gusts here at the last hour, around 25 miles an hour in Belize City. Yes, there has been certainly some heavier winds, but the story has been the amount of rain. You can see the showers continue up towards the Orange Walk area, into the Chechemal area, the southern sides of the Yucatan Peninsula, and we've had gustier winds and some passing heavier rain. Cancun, Cozumel, Tulum, on over towards Merida areas there, Campeche. It does look like Sara will not hold together and will lose tropical characteristics over the Yucatan. Now, we'll of course talk about what the remnants of Sara could do once it gets back into the southwest Gulf of Mexico coming up. We still have some moisture coming back in over El Salvador and Tegucigalpa and moving back into coastal portions of Honduras. So La Ceiba and San Pedro Sula and the Bay Islands still have had some rain for today, but it's beginning to alleviate, and that is good news. Now, again, the big story today has been what's been happening in Belize. Let me show you some pictures. And I always know when the worst weather is hitting one area at the time, because you get a lot of pictures and videos before, and then you get a lot of pictures and videos after. But during the height of the storm, folks are paying attention to what's happening. But I did get a couple. This is out of San Ignacio, Belize, and unfortunately, it looks like the marketplace there is completely underwater, all right? So big time problems in San Ignacio. I mean, look how high the water level is in those areas. Then you go just west to Bullet Tree Falls. That's the bridge. That's a smaller area just west of San Ignacio, and you can see that the bridge is covered with water. They have roped it off. No one traveling across it right now. Appreciate Darren Hensel cultivating some of these images on social media and sending me those, but you get the idea in Belize of some of the widespread heavier rain. Now, I showed you the water rescues going on in Honduras, friends. You won't believe this, okay, but it's true. The government of Honduras states that more than 40 inches or more than 1,000 millimeters of rain have fallen in portions of Honduras since the beginning of Sara developing and moving across the area. That is the widespread destruction. And I hate to see what we're going to get in the aftermath with the landslides and the mudslides and what that has, caused. You just have to look into portions of the United States with what happened after Helene in the portions of North Carolina and Tennessee when they had massive rainfall, not even to that degree, but again, just a ton of heavy rain. And this is some very high terrain and mountainous areas in the northern sides of Honduras. So our thoughts are with our friends there. Obviously, if you live in these areas that have been impacted, please let us know in the comment section below how you guys are doing. Now, as Sara weakens and moves north and west, the rain will begin to relax through this area. It will still take most of the day. We're drier today in places like the Cayman Islands after a few passing showers and certainly some heavier rain earlier in the weekend. We've also dried out over Jamaica as well. Same thing for Cuba. Again, when I switch over here to the water vapor imagery, let me bring that up. You're going to see that there is a lot of drier air that again has come back into the eastern sides of the storm and certainly up to the north. I mean, this is the impacts of that area of upper level high pressure sitting over the United States and the U.S. and the southeast portions of the U.S. Some breezy conditions, but a heck of a lot of drier air. So it's been windy in places like the Bahamas and the Turks and Caicos for today, but it's also been drier, and that drier air has been able to work its way all the way into Haiti and portions of the northern sides of the Dominican Republic. So it's been a quieter day as well there. A little bit of cloud coverage over Santo Domingo, Samana Peninsula on over towards Punta Cana. We've had a few scattered showers continuing for Puerto Rico and portions of the U.S. and British Virgin Islands for today. All the numbers that you see are wind gusts in miles an hour, and from time to time we've had some fresh breezes here. Now we start to get into a little bit more moisture over portions of the Lesser Antilles. Some of the heaviest moisture is just east, but earlier today we did have a flash flood advisory for the Barbuda area, and in general the Leeward Islands had some very heavy rainfall. Take a look at what's happening right now. Still a few heavier showers over portions of Anguilla, St. Martin on over towards St. Bart's. Speaking of St. Martin, look at this video Ellie Marino sent me earlier today of the flooding in St. Martin. I mean, it was coming down. That is some good street flooding there. Widespread heavy tropical downpours. Appreciate Ellie sending in that video. It really tells the story through portions of the Leeward Islands on this Sunday. But again, you've got parking lot flooding, you've got some road flooding there, and it's a problem. So appreciate Ellie sending in that video. And again, we've had pockets of very heavy rainfall. It's beginning to actually move its way off towards the east just a little bit. So a little bit dry right now for Ceiba, St. Eustatius, St. Kitts and Nevis, Montserrat, Guadalupe, and Dominica. Now I get back here and you can see that moisture plume is still east of most of the islands, except for our friends in Barbados, just sticking a little bit farther off towards the east. They've had heavy rain. They are under an active flood watch at the recording of this video late on this Sunday. So Spadestown and Bridgetown and the entire island, heavier rainfall still over the island, a few inches of rain up to 75 millimeters in some spots. The moisture is trying to pull off to the east and drier air is trying to move back in, but you can still see a couple of scattered showers over Martinique and St. Lucia at the hour, but it's a lot less concentrated compared to Barbados. And it's the same situation for Grenada, Trinidad and Tobago as well. Nueva Esparta, the ABC Islands, relatively quiet. So this moisture has been a big story, and we'll continue to see some active weather in this area as well. And then the next big story, of course, is what happens from here with Sara. Let's get into it right now. And as we do so, friends, appreciate you guys taking a quick second to like this video, to subscribe to Meteo Mundo. You want these daily forecasts across the Caribbean and the Bahamas and all your tropical updates across the Atlantic Basin. You found your home. Thank you for sharing this with your family and friends, and I appreciate all the support, many different ways. If you would like to give just a small token of your appreciation, you can find that in the description below or other ways to support creators, including us here at Meteo Mundo. All right, let's get into it. So now we're going to talk about the evolution of what could be happening with the remnants of Sara. Again, no models right now are really showing that we're going to have a true tropical circulation holding together, but that does not mean we won't see some impacts for portions of the United States Gulf Coast. There is a fast-moving cold front coming in. There's a lot of wind energy already, and the remnants mid-level circulation that should hold together with Sara is going to get absorbed by that, and there will be the opportunity for some rain through portions of the northern Gulf Coast of the United States into Florida and eventually back down into portions of the Bahamas as well. Now, it does look like the center is going to work its way close to the Louisiana, Mississippi, and Alabama, western Panhandle, Florida coastlines. So this is where we could actually have the most significant rain. And now let me bring back on the model timeline here. This is going to be early on our Tuesday and then into late Tuesday, Wednesday into Florida. Now the rain should fall apart a little bit as it gets into the peninsula of Florida, and then it'll just work its way off towards the south. This would be just kind of a burst of some wind and some rain. No huge impacts, no reason to change any plans, but if you do have outdoor plans Tuesday into Wednesday in these areas, just, know that it's not going to be the best weather days. If I take this and I extend this out into our Thursday, just to kind of give you an idea of how this rain plays out into the Bahamas, it's going to fall apart for the most part as it gets into the northwest Bahamas. Watch it begin to break apart here, but especially up towards Walker's Key and Grand Bahama and the Abacos and Bimini and Andros and Nassau, New Providence and Eleuthera, maybe even towards Cat Island, northwestern sides of the Bahamas. We're going to get some rain out of this, mainly late Wednesday and into Thursday, all right? As far as the winds, 30, 35 miles an hour at best, but those will be in gusts. I don't expect them to be that prominent. As a matter of fact here real quickly, and let me pause this because every so often the computer doesn't like me switching to this graphic. But anyway, you'll see that a couple of things of note here. First of all, you'll see that this mid-level circulation kind of holds together right there. You can see that. It gets picked up by our front coming in, and that will actually even increase the forward speed. So again, on the GFS model, the mid-level center of what's left over of Sara is actually hugging the west coast of the Panhandle of Florida near the Pensacola area. There it comes in right now. Here comes our cold front sweeping through. It actually picks up even forward speed, and we're going even faster. And then just fresh winds overall. Anywhere that you see those greens, just for instance, are winds that are pushing over 20 miles an hour, but a lot of 25s. And these will just be in gusts. And again, eventually down the road, some of these winds will get back into portions of the northwest side of the Bahamas. So, no big impacts, but there'll be a burst of some rain. Now, if we take a look at the European model deterministic, right, nice slow track on this. Again, every so often you'll see the hint of a low-level center, but not expecting again anything truly tropical. You notice that the European model, as we get into early on Wednesday, is basically in line with the GFS, where it's hugging the Gulf Coast of the Panhandle of Florida and eventually moving into the peninsula, but nothing extremely solidly wrapped up. This is the HAFS A model. Again, it loses its tropical characteristics of the Yucatan, and this is even a broader area of just wind, and obviously on the leading edge of this, there's going to be some decent amounts of rain. Just to note, the HAFS A is still farther south towards the Tampa-St. Petersburg area. This would be late in the day on Wednesday. Obviously, if it tracks east before it moves inland, it'll be a little bit later in time. These are your wind gusts, these are your sustained winds, and you're still going to see some yellows there that are more than 30 miles an hour. So I think the core could still have some 30, 35 mile an hour winds, but it's a fast moving system. So late Tuesday into Wednesday, portions of the Gulf Coast of the United States and Florida could see some wind and some rain out of this, but that's about it. Obviously, I'll keep a very close eye on it, but any further impacts from that, I simply don't expect it. Now let's get back into the forecast for everyone else, and we'll go island by island with the rainfall forecast. Once again, this moisture that is sitting just east of the Lesser Antilles today kind of lingers over the area, all right? It can be concentrated in some areas like Barbados. If I back this up and we get into, first of all, this is just tonight, and I think the model has a good handle of what's happening, but notice that additional heavier rain in some spots tries to develop over the Windward Islands overnight. Can't rule that out. That's possible. And then back again through portions of Monday and into Tuesday, some of this moisture just kind of wants to linger and stick around. So I've got a higher rain chance in Barbados overall compared to places like St. Lucia, St. Vincent and the Grenadines and Grenada and Trinidad and Tobago, but we'll certainly see some scattered showers here. And then that'll be the situation up the rest of the Lesser Antilles as well. Martinique, Dominica, and Guadeloupe. Decent rain chances over the next several days. Just like today, can't rule out some areas of locally heavy rainfall. You saw the flash flooding going on in St. Martin. We had the flash flood advisory in Barbuda, so a few of the islands had some significant rain for today, and I think that's about the same thing. We kind of checkerboard it over the next couple of days where this area just stays relatively active. Still some decent rain chances in Puerto Rico, in the U.S. and British Virgin Islands. The moisture quality probably won't be as significant as it is off towards the east, but Virgin Gorda and Jost Van Dyke and St. Thomas and St. Croix and St. John, Puerto Rico itself, fairly solid rain chances. The next couple of days, it'll begin to tail off a bit. We'll actually have, again, you notice that drier air was over Haiti. That's going to begin to just limit the rain chance overall for the Dominican Republic and Haiti and portions of the Turks and Caicos, Cuba, Jamaica and the Cayman Islands also begin to dry out as well. Rain chances will fall a bit there. Now, what's going to be happening in Central America is we got to get some drier weather. Still going to have the opportunity for some heavier rainfall all the way back down to Costa Rica and Panama, okay, all the way back down into those areas. And then as far as what we could see with the front coming in, you notice that as Sara's remnants bend back around and come back into the Bahamas, there might be enough of lift in the atmosphere in the Northwest Caribbean to produce some additional showers there. So just real quickly here, because I hadn't done it yet, just taking a look at the rainfall totals on the GFS model, and we'll look at the European. Now again, this is starting from right now, late on our Sunday. The additional rain that could still fall in some areas could still be more than 6 inches of rain. I hope it's not that much, okay? We're already starting to see it dry out in the Bay Islands, but certainly the opportunity in portions of Belize and portions of Guatemala here, and then up towards the southern sides of Quintana Roo for a few more inches, 3 to 4 inches, 75 millimeters, up to 100 millimeters. Still a few inches of rain could fall over Cancun as well. And again, the rain total should lower as the storm falls apart, but through most of Central America here, widespread decent rainfall is likely. You can see that through Panama and then back through portions of Costa Rica as well. As I've already mentioned, the heaviest rain could be this little bullseye up here towards coastal Alabama, the western panhandle of Florida, maybe the coastal sides of Mississippi as well. And then as the rain pushes into the peninsula of Florida, it does weaken a bit as far as the heavier rainfall goes. And then back over to the Lesser Antilles. Again, you look back here towards Barbados, and there's just your bullseye right there. Another 3 inches of rain to fall there, and decent amounts. I mean, it's not like we don't have anything going on here through St. Vincent and the Grenadines and Martinique, just a little bit more isolated. And there's your secondary bullseye near Antigua and Barbuda. So there's Barbuda there, a little bit north of there, Anguilla. You get the idea that the GFS is picking up on those areas that I've already mentioned. So let's turn that into what does the rainfall forecast look like in your area. For the Northwest Bahamas, basically dry the next couple of days as the remnants of Sara come in on Wednesday. We're up to a 40% chance for fast moving showers and very breezy conditions. Not as much rain expected with that. Central and Southeast Bahamas, Turks and Caicos, so still relatively dry. Cuba's rain chances are actually more isolated than what they have been. You've noticed that drier air has worked its way in there. The Cayman Islands begins to get drier too, just a 30% chance tomorrow, 20 Tuesday, Wednesday. Belize City still has some decent rain, likely through early on Monday. It shouldn't be as heavy, but I can't rule out some showers through daybreak. Then we do begin to dry out and we get relatively dry. But again, late Wednesday, more moisture could be returning to the area, but obviously not nearly as significant as what we just saw. Cancun and Cozumel, 50% chance tomorrow, 30 Tuesday, Wednesday. Drying out for my friends in Jamaica. Not a lot of rain the next few days. Should actually be some pretty comfortable weather with the drier air in place as well. The Dominican Republic's rain chances actually just continue to fall through early to midweek. Puerto Rico, the U.S. and British Virgin Islands, a 40% chance the next couple of days, 30 on Wednesday. Very windy day today in Bermuda. Winds will still be up a bit the next couple of days, then finally relax. 30% chance for rain on Wednesday. Anguilla, St. Kitts and Nevis, there's your higher rain chances. Again, through the Lesser Antilles. 60% chance for tomorrow, St. Kitts and Nevis. Saba, St. Eustatius, St. Martin, places like that. Same thing for Antigua and Barbuda as well. Montserrat, a 50% chance, and still healthier rain chances. Overall, it will be the Eastern Caribbean with the best chance for rain over the next 3 days. Guadeloupe, a 60% chance for tomorrow, 40% chance on Wednesday. Dominica's rain chances are pretty decent as well. Martinique, a 50% chance tomorrow, 40 Tuesday, Wednesday. More scattered or isolated for St. Lucia, St. Vincent, and the Grenadines, but again, still can't rule out pockets of heavier rain. There's your higher chance tomorrow in Barbados. Still could see some flood potential. Good, rich tropical moisture in play. I know it's mid-November, man, but there's a lot of high moisture content in the atmosphere. 50 Tuesday, 40 on Wednesday, 50 tomorrow for Grenada, a little bit lower through Wednesday. More isolated for Trinidad and Tobago, scattered showers for our friends in Suriname and Guyana, 20% chance the next couple of days in Nueva Esparta. And how about the ABC Islands? A 40% chance for Aruba, Bonaire, and Curacao tomorrow and Tuesday, and still a 30% chance on Wednesday. This is what the European totals look like over the next 7 days. Here you go. Once again, you're going to see a lot of rain through portions, mainly of the Pacific, of Central America, and of course, with some redevelopment of some rain coming back in. You look back over again towards the ABC Islands. It's good to see a little bit of red there. That's a few inches of rain possible, maybe 2 to 3 over the next 7 days. There's your higher rain chances through the Lesser Antilles, and then, especially from the Dominican Republic west, Jamaica, Cayman Islands, Cuba, the Bahamas, these are our drier spots here over the week ahead. Doesn't mean we're not going to get some rain, but just not as much. Once again, I have to reiterate how widespread the rough surf and sea conditions are. Man, oh man, I mean, there's a little bit of a lull in the central sides of the Caribbean right now, but we still have some near gale force conditions in the western Atlantic. Bermuda felt it today, still could feel it in the exposed waters of the western Atlantic for the Bahamas, Turks and Caicos. Higher surf conditions expected along the northern coastline of Puerto Rico. We've had rip current advisories almost every day. Some of that could translate into the U.S. and British Virgin Islands, portions of the Lesser Antilles, and these swells with these northerly winds could certainly bring in some higher sea conditions through some of the islands across the Lesser Antilles. Obviously, things will improve a little bit here in the Western Caribbean, and we'll see some higher sea conditions come along with the remnants of Sara through the northern and the northeast sides of the Gulf of Mexico. Friends, I appreciate you guys. Thank you so much for joining me on this Sunday. You want to follow us across all social media? You certainly can. You can find us on Instagram, TikTok, X, Facebook. You want to send me a picture or video? Again, it helps to tell the story. MyMediaMundo@gmail.com. As always, you have a specific question about the forecast that I haven't answered in the video, feel free to drop it in the comment section below. And while you're down there, again, a hearty thank you for hitting the like button right now, and of course, subscribing to the channel if you have not. Friends, I hope you had a great weekend. I'll be back tomorrow with the latest. Until then, you take care of yourselves. Have a great start to your Monday. I'll see you soon right here at Meteo Mundo.